Gentlemen, it's never been easier to succeed in the dopamine riddled, dopamine addicted world that we live in. I say this countless amounts of times. Analyze your competition. Your competition doesn't go to the gym. Heck, your competition doesn't even have a gym membership. What I want you to do is please describe to me what you believe the average man does from a day-to-day basis, from the minute that he wakes up until the last minute before he shuts his eyes at night time. What does he do on a regular basis? He doesn't exercise. He's addicted to things like Netflix and pornography. He's in an unhappy relationship, if he has a relationship. We all know the statistic of young men aged between 18 to 30, at least 2/3 being single. That's if he has a relationship. And the likelihood is, even if he does have a relationship, he's not able to navigate it in the way that he would like to. The average man is unsatisfied with his 9 to 5, if he has a 9 to 5, because there is a contingent of young men that are not employed. You know, there are so many of these questions that you can pose, and it really is worth pondering, because a lot of people say to me, Kem, it's too difficult. How do I elevate? How do I get into the top 20, 30%? It's not that difficult. And in this video, I'm going to divulge with some real world data, with statistics, breaking down exactly why it's not as difficult as you think. It's getting harder and harder for the average man to succeed, because that gap is just exponentially increasing, where you have a group of men that are dedicated to their craft, that are working continuously and consistently, and they're going to achieve the end result. In comparison to the average guy that's continuing down this path, that gap is increasing. So, just to put it into perspective for you guys, because these are stats that I collated not recently, but over a long period of time. But I'm going to read you these statistics, and then we're going to basically interpret and divulge a bit later in terms of my thoughts and opinions. The first one is 92% of men in the United States masturbate. I mean, for some of you guys, that's an outlandish statistic. 92%. And by the way, these are all credible reports, but 92% of men in America masturbate. Now, I knew how addicted men were in general, but to me, this was far too high. This was far too high, and that is a very big concern. It's a very big concern, which obviously in some cases is funneling into things like OnlyFans. This is very concerning. So when people come to me and say, Kem, it's so difficult to take it to the next level, that's your competition. Your competition is the vast majority of American men masturbating. And I bet you, yes, in Europe, it might not be as high, but I can guarantee you, if I searched it for Europe, it would be very similar. And if I searched it for the world, and let's bear it in mind here for context, half of the world doesn't have access to an internet connection, so we have to take some context here. But this is staggering. You then move on to the next stat. Men have the most sex between age 25 and 39, whereas women have the most sex between ages 20 to 29. Now, a very long time ago, I made a video of how a woman's life starts at age 18 and a man's life starts at age 30. And this basically fits perfectly into that narrative, because it's basically where men peak later. That is how you can interpret this. And that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. So if you're a young guy, if you're in your teens, you have a lot to look forward to. The caveat, obviously, is if you're dedicated and you put work in, and obviously you put so much effort and focus into ascertaining your purpose and understanding what your calling is. But again, that's just extra facts, just to back it up for you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are sort of concerned that things aren't working out at this young age. You have a lot to look forward to, because the statistics and time is on your side. The third insane statistic is the average family in the UK has approximately £2,000 in savings. Now, I saw a stat a very long time ago, which was actually quite credible. This was for the United States, and it was somewhere along the lines of between 75 to 80% of Americans have less than $1,000 of savings in their account. So basically, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And that's basically backed up for the UK and the rest of Europe. Considering the UK has the 5th or 6th highest GDP on the planet, America having the largest GDP on the planet, and having a stat like this is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity, because what is the quality of life like? So when people say, oh, it's too difficult to make it, man, I can't make it, this is your competition. Your competition is masturbating with approximately £2,000 of savings. Come on. I'm not saying this to belittle or put people down. this should be used as encouragement. This should make you think, oh my God, it's not actually that difficult to get to the next level. The next one is this: 15% of men in the UK are 6 foot plus. Now, this is based purely on genetics. So I'm not gonna bash any short people. That's not your fault. That's absolutely harsh and cruel. But again, it's, if you are over 6 foot, congratulations. I mean, I'm 6'3", but if you are over 6 foot, again, a very small percentage. The next, 10% of UK earners make over £65,000 per annum. Now, £65,000 is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But considering the average in the UK is approximately £28,000 per year, 65 is achievable. It is achievable. I know a lot of people making that money. That is very, very achievable. And the fact that it's only 10%, again, is very concerning. It's very concerning. So when you consider the average is around 25 to 29, I'm not saying that should be attained immediately, because this is for all age brackets. This is from basically when people can enter the workforce, which is basically 16 to 18, all the way until retirement. So this is for all age categories, both genders. So there's no time limit, but across the timeline, across sort of 10, 20, 30 years, if you set a goal over the next decade to earn at least £65,000 per year, it puts you in the top 10%. Yes, it's a lot of money, but do not tell me it's not achievable. Next, the 13% of men read on a regular basis. This again was up there as one of the most shocking statistics personally. 13% of men read on a regular basis. I mean, guys, I always say that you shouldn't always read because it's purely theory, and what you need to be doing is applying that theory by taking action. But if you're not reading at all, that is a major concern. That is a major concern. My father, before he lost his marbles, essentially, he read at least over 1,000 books, and he lost his marbles at age 60. So there is absolutely no excuse. There's famous intellectuals and figures. The one unanimous thing they can agree on, and the one thing they have in common, is they read on a continuous basis. Specifically non-fiction. They read and they read and they read. As long as you apply what you read, absolutely fine. But there is no excuse not to read. You have to be actively reading. If you're not reading, at least listen to Audible or listen to audiobooks that's going to help you and enhance your knowledge. There's no excuse. 13% is actually disgraceful. And this is what I'm saying. This is the average man. And this is, by just reading regularly, it puts you basically in the top 10%. Come on. So please don't ever say it's too difficult. Most people are dopamine addicted. They're addicted to dopamine. Their brains are fried. You don't have competition, bro. You don't have competition. And the last one, and I've made a video on this because I actually titled a video based around this stat a long time ago. I said 95% of the world can't do 10 pull-ups. Now, again, I had so many people in the comment section saying, oh, it's to do with body weight and it's to do with muscle mass, and if you're skinny, you're able to do it. No, it's not. No, it's not. I used to be much slimmer and I couldn't do 3 pull-ups years ago. I couldn't. You have to train. You have to train on a consistent basis. You have to build muscle. Otherwise, there's no way in hell you can do 10 strict pull-ups with correct form. It's not going to happen. And 95% of the world can't even do 10 pull-ups. They can't even do 10 pull-ups. Guys, this is your competition. I don't ever want to hear it again. Kem, it's too hard to elevate into the upper echelons. How can I get in the top 30%? Come on. Come on. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. If you set a goal, bearing in mind what I've just read to you, if you set a goal over the next 5 years to focus on the aspects that I provided, physique, finances, reading, mental, spirituality, if you focus solely on that just for 5 years, which is a long time, you will smash past all of these. And what I just read wasn't the average. What I read was not the average. What I read, if you tick all of these boxes, you're in at least the top 10%. Forget top 20, 30%. You're in the top 10%. That is the truth. That is the reality. So the point of this video is to explain to you that you have no competition. Most people are dopamine addicted. You don't have competition. This is supposed to act as encouragement for you, that you're able to do it. You have the capacity. You have the capability. That's the point. So hopefully that's benefited you. Hopefully that's helped you. If it has, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification, smash the like button, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.